Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate will be out in just a few days on the Nintendo Switch, and to be honest, I'm pretty excited. Here are some of the reasons why I'm just so ready for some good old classic Monster Hunter on the Switch. Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate has a crazy amount of monsters. A staggering 93 creatures reside within this cart. Of course, this is the Japanese version because the game isn't out yet, but the games are pretty much functionally the same. Now, I don't know about you, but for me personally, it's hard to get bored of monsters to fight when there's just so many missions available. There's like thousands of missions here. And of course, old favorites like Regios, Nargacuga, freaking Tigrex, the Geocris, you name it, it's probably in here. And there's even a new monster making its debut. This one is called Volstrax, and it takes inspiration from a fighter jet. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I am hype AF to go back and fight some of these monsters. And then there's the Fated Four, like Glavnus, Mizuzune, Gameth, and Astalos. And of course, it doesn't really matter how many monsters there are if the gameplay doesn't feel tight and responsive. And, you know, we do lose some of the quality of life adjustments from Monster Hunter World by playing Generations Ultimate, since it's a classic Monster Hunter game and all that. But I feel like the older mechanics are sort of timeless in a way. Sure, it's a pain in the ass to run around and find a monster, but once you do, you're going to be forced to play tactically or get stomped by G-Rank. The quirks are just kind of part of the series, like when monsters sit in the entrance of an area and you accidentally hit the transition point, or flexing when you drink a potion. But there are some good things here, like being able to slam on the joysticks to get out of stun. Trust me, I'm always going to hold World accountable for adding in needlessly long stun animations. You also can't forget about your cats. Your cats are more customizable in Generations Ultimate with skills. And I actually completely forgot about this until I noticed my cats carrying bombs to throw at the monster while I was recording footage for this video. One of the biggest complaints I had about the 3DS versions of Monster Hunter is, well, the 3DS itself. It kind of feels weird blaming the hardware, but you know, the 3DS is not the most comfortable device to hold. And even with this big clunky Circle Pad Pro, it kind of leaves my hands cramped and sweaty and strains my eyeballs from the extremely low resolution of the screen. Sure, it's fascinating that the game even looks like it does on 3DS, but let's be real here, it's 2018. The 3DS is obsolete, and the Switch lets us enjoy higher resolutions, a cool 720p on handheld and locked 1080p at 30 FPS docked. But the part I'm most excited for is the fact that I can actually use a controller, either the Joy-Cons if I'm out and about, or my dinky little Bowser controller here if I want to play on stream, or TV. It's awesome. One of the things I feel is sort of underlooked about the classic style of Monster Hunter games, and it's actually something that we lost in Monster Hunter World, is the amount of gear you actually have at your disposal. Because there are so many monsters, there's an absolute boatload of gear, including low rank, high rank, G rank, armors and weapons of every single monster. Hell, there's over 50 pages of armors, which is a far cry from the other games in the series. Unlike World, weapons actually have different models, so you can easily differentiate between different tiers. Not only that, but there is a proper vanity system in Generations Ultimate this time, so you can be fashionable while still getting all the skills you want. Speaking of which, and this is just my personal preference, I prefer the classic skill system, so that's something for myself to look forward to. Also, while I was recording, I found a charge blade that was a pizza and pizza cutter, which is kind of the best weapon ever. It's really just the perfect representation of that campy Monster Hunter charm that we all love. Hunter styles and arts were the defining features of Monster Hunter Generations back when it first released. In case you don't know what they are, Hunter styles mix up your moveset and consequently your strategy against each monster. There were styles like Aerial, which offered a radically different experience because you're able to leave off monsters and, you know, make mounts easier and whatnot. Especially when you compare it to something like Adept, which is more of a high-risk, high-reward style of gameplay. For Generations Ultimate, there are two new styles. One is called Valor and the other is called Alchemy. Valor gives you another meter to watch, as if we need another one, and it lets you enter a special stance where you can tank through damage or perform special attacks. Alchemy is probably the strangest one yet because it lets you synthesize various items by shaking a barrel. Alongside all these styles are Hunter arts as well, which are essentially flashy attacks or buffs that recharge over time and your DPS. There's a bunch of them that will do anything from evade attacks, buffing your team, or even turning into a rocket ship. One of the coolest things about the 3DS games was the frequency of the DLC. We got so many new armor sets and funky missions, and just a whole bunch of crossover content including Mario, Animal Crossing, Mega Man, Zelda, Samus. Pretty much any Nintendo franchise you can imagine was somehow involved in Monster Hunter on the 3DS. And there's bound to be even more on the Switch and with Generations Ultimate, and Capcom has already confirmed that there's going to be Breath of the Wild content. Oh yeah, you know the Egg Quest that I'm talking about. If you're new to the series, you're going to be in for a treat with Egg Quests. These are just agonizing unless you have a custom set specifically for carrying eggs. And even then, they're a crapshoot. Of course, they're back in Generations Ultimate, and they are just as bad as you remember. You know, you just gotta watch out for that egg cartel. The monster that I'm most excited to fight has got to be Lagiacrus. After being teased with Lagiacrus in World and then not having him in the full game, I was really having a great time fighting him in Double Cross. I even forgot about the few attacks he had that were added to Generations that are brand new, but now seeing him on my TV for the first time since 3U, it's awesome. So there's 5 reasons to get excited for Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate. Comes out on August 28th, 2018, just a couple days away for the Nintendo Switch. I hope to see everybody that's watching this video in the online lobbies. If you enjoyed this, let me know down in the comments why you're excited for Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate. Maybe think about bopping that subscribe button too for more Monster Hunter videos. Huge shout out to all the patrons and Twitch subs. I'll catch you all later. Peace.